And I was so happy to be walking down that gorge there where Dr. Leakey went. I was looking around and I thought, my goodness, he was walking in the same spot I am here. It was something that I could never imagine in my life, that I would be there where Dr. Leakey was. That was a grand thing. Then while we were there, it seemed like it was all clustered in one little area there. We went, it took 2 hours for us to get to these places, and Lake Navasha was there with all the birds. And we picked up one of the men from the college, Dr. Obura, and he went with us, and we drove 2 hours to get out to this, where Lake Navasha was. And there was small and large farms of flowers. Mostly it was the carnations were up. And they were being picked by the ladies because he said that the ladies are more careful pickers than the men. So most of all their pickers are ladies. And the pickers are all living there. There's hundreds of these little bamba round houses with the thatched roofs on them. Now they pick the carnations in the bud. They're not open yet. And then they take them and they put them in some liquid or something to help preserve them. And then they're sent out on the bus to get to the airport. And then they're sent out on the airport to get to Amsterdam. And then what Amsterdam does with them, I suppose they sell to the United States and so forth. But there was many other kinds besides the carnation, roses and other things. It just happened to be at this time that the carnations were in bloom. And then we had a picnic lunch. We had brought our lunch there, and we had a picnic lunch there, and then we came home. And when we came home, Betty and we went down to the end area here where the suites are, and they have big porches that are right out onto the savannah area there, and the warthogs and the baboons are close by there and coming through. And we went over there to get a look at them and just sat down there. And then there was 2 of the guys there. There's one guy, that David, all he does, he's got a big iron stick, and all he does is he walks around this see, we're like in a compound. We're inside. Everything else is outside. All the animals are outside. And the houses are all built, so that you're built in a circle, and the inside is all landscaped with flowers galore, and then in the outside is where the animals are. So he walks around the whole perimeter. That's his job, just that, to make sure that the warthogs don't get near and damage any flowers or any vegetation that they have planted or are trying to grow. And the other one, George, he was a yard boy. He cleans the rooms and takes care of the yard. And we sat there for a couple hours just talking to them. This George, he wanted to come to the United States. Everybody's dream, come to the United States. And he says, I says, well, you'll have to save your money. And he says, how can I do that? In my whole lifetime, I couldn't save enough. He says, and how can I go there? He says, I have not even been to Nairobi yet. Now, this is the big town. He has never been to Nairobi. So how can he possibly get to the United States? Well, and he has a wife and child, so Betty says, well, it's going to be an impossible dream. Well, we've finished breakfast now, and it's 7 o'clock, and we're waiting. We're going to get ready in 15 minutes, and we're going to go out on a game drive, and then we've got a couple other things to do. We're going to be leaving here tomorrow morning, so we'll be getting everything packed and done. See you later. We stopped at a wood carving place yesterday, and Ralph is trying to buy a pair of bookends. And they're dickering and dickering and this and that. And finally the boy says, all right, you can have it for this price and your wife's scarf. And I said, my scarf? You're not getting my scarf. Well, how about your pin over there or your bracelet? I will take that, you know. I said, no way, you're just going to have to do your dickering. If I had brought along these scarves are these bandanas that we're talking about, they're only a couple of cents to buy, for gosh sakes. But I only had one with me, and I sure wasn't going to give it up. I'm going to need that in Mara because it's hotter down there.